Vincent Van Gogh, people told him, you can't be a great painter, you only have one ear. You know what he said? I can't hear you.
Listening to Sippin' Sports, a Phillies sports talk morning show with Chris, KJ, and Dalt. Proudly powered by 302 Birds. Let's take it to the show.
Good morning. Here a little bit earlier this Saturday, but it's all good. That's all right. As you guys can see, we're all in fucking unison today. We didn't plan this, but we planned it, if you see what I'm saying. But seriously, happy to be here for you guys on another Saturday, breaking down everything in Philly sports. Got a ton on tap for you guys today. Going to be an all Phillies, all Eagles show. We decided pre-show we're not going to touch on the Olympics. Congratulations to Joel Embiid. We'll just say that now. Great job on your Olympic gold medal, but we're not going to really talk about it because it's in the past. Go ahead, KJ. What were you going to say?
Thank you very much. I'm going to maybe bring a championship to Philly. Probably not, though.
Hopefully, with that Olympic gold medal experience, maybe it'll bring some good luck. But like I said, we got a ton on tap for you guys. And we'll just start with Thursday night's action when things kind of started to seem to turn the tide. Now, I'll just go ahead and ask one of the Stash Bros himself to start. You and Fratty, I mean, you've had the stash for years, but Fratty gets the stash. And ever since the stash has seemed in, the Phillies have seemed back. So is the stash back, KJ?
Oh, the stash is always back. It always is. And people try and tell me to shave it. And then other people are like, when I shave it, they run around and they panic like the world is ending, like Chicken Little. So, yeah, I think the stash is it's a good luck thing right now. I trimmed it a little bit. So, I got to refresh it a couple times. So, but yeah, Weston Wilson, I mean, he's got a stash and he's got the beard going too. So he hit for the cycle. That was great to see. I mean, a lot of people don't know really what a cycle is. I mean, Chris, if you want to elaborate on that, you can. I mean, I know it's single, right? It's a single, double, triple.
No, it's single, double, triple, homer. Every aspect you can get. So there's only been 10 in the history of the Philadelphia Phillies, which is insane because the Phillies have been around since 1883. So there's only been 10. The last one was Real Muto last year. But before that, there hadn't been one since David Bell in 2004. So it's a really rare feat. It's actually, I think it's almost as rare as a no-hitter for the Phillies. Actually, I'm pretty sure there's more no-hitters in Phillies history than there is cycles at this point. So it's a good thing to see. I mean, Weston Wilson kind of comes out of nowhere and he plays really well. We'll take it. If he can hit like this against lefties and you have Marsh against righties, it's a very good platoon. And, maybe you don't need that superstar in left field that everybody wants them to have. If you have just a really solid player between Wilson and Marsh. And then obviously when Hayes comes back, you got him too. So yeah, Weston Wilson hitting recycle was huge. It was unexpected, but it happened.
Sometimes that's how it goes. Sometimes the unexpected happens. And I'll say this, not a better place for it to happen than Citizens Bank Park. That place, I would love to measure the decibel meter of there the past couple of days because it has been,
next time we go.
It's been insane. I mean, this 3-game winning streak, go ahead and going into our next topic. KJ, you were there last night. You sent a video, which we're going to post a little bit later here on Sippin' Sports today once we get it edited. But that walk-off last night, how was that vibe? It looked electric.
It was awesome. And it was the second walk-off game I've been to, and that was just electric because I went to the one when they played the Orioles in Philly last year, so that was awesome. That was a Bryson Stott. I don't know if Chris remembers that game. Bryson Stott hit a walk-off. I think it was double. to win the game. So that was awesome. But yeah, as my buddy Josh just said, I was on TV. I got like 50 different texts from like random people and uncles and aunts, which was really cool. I had no idea I was on there. Yeah. So that was, wait, what's up?
I had stopped watching for 5 minutes, and that was when they fucking showed you. Like, son of a bitch.
Two times in 1 month, too. I was going to say, look out, ESPN. Maybe you got to offer this guy a contract because he's just a magnet for the camera.
They just fired RG3, so maybe KJ McCoy 3 is the new.
KJ 23. Yeah.
KJ 23 is the new.
For sure. But yeah, it was electric there. And I'll tell you, everybody, when that hit happened, when Trey Turner hit that, oh my gosh, you just hear in the video, I recorded, everyone's bouncing and bouncing. Like it's like we're in California with our boys, Birdman and Lou Bird, like bouncing in one of those 90s cars or whatever. Like it was insane. It was crazy. So everyone went electric, and that place was freaking rocking and rolling. I mean, you couldn't hear anything. You couldn't hear anything, and everybody was just pumped. It was insane.
Dude, it looked awesome. It looked like a ton of fun, and that's exactly what the Phillies have needed. I mean, I'll go ahead and take it first here before Chris, because I know Chris will let him back clean up and bring it home for you guys, the true Phillies expert. But it's been amazing because it's been really hard for somebody like me to watch the Phillies lately, just playing dog shit baseball, falling on their face, mistakes that are theirs, just sloppy. And it feels like the past 3 games specifically, the Phillies have really found themselves. They haven't felt bad for themselves. They've really said, okay, we're going to dig ourselves out of this hole and not really make excuses. I'm not going to wait for the next man up to make a move. I'm going to make the move. I'm going to be the hero. And that's got to be the mentality that this team needs to start having, because you can't go in the playoffs and just wait on each other, wait for the next man up to make a hit, to do something impressive, because that's not going to win you games. You can't just wait on somebody else to do something. You got to do it. So it seems like the team is all really responding well to that kind of mindset, and speaks volumes to Trey Turner too. Last night, he really embodied that mindset and said, okay, I need to put the team on my back right now. This is a game that we should win. This is a game that we can win, and it's within reach. And as you see, KJ McCoy now, a true Philly fan, gets a memory that he will remember for the rest of his life because of that one decision, that commitment, that buy-in now by the whole team. The Phillies need to keep that buy-in for the whole year. It looked like something was off a little bit in that stretch. It looks like they found themselves again, which is great to see. Chris, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that, everybody at once was trying to do everything themselves. And it's just not who the Phillies are. Like, yes, they have the stars, but they play best when they play as a team. And, that's why like, when things like Weston Wilson comes out and has the game that he does, that propels the team. Johan Rojas has been really, really good since the All-Star break. Not many people are talking about it because it's Johan Rojas. He doesn't hit home runs. But the other things that he's been doing, playing extremely good defense, just getting timely hits, has been huge for this baseball team. And, if they have something there in Johan Rojas, that's probably bigger than anything else on the team. Plus, you got Bryce Harper finally starting to hit out of that slump. These slumps happen. They just have to make sure it doesn't kill them, type thing. For a little bit there, I was really worried that this was like the 2023 Eagles all over again, where they were extremely, extremely good and then just fell apart. I don't think this is that team. I think they just went through a little rough patch, but I think they're back now. And these next couple of games will really be a telltale. They just got to keep winning these series and just, continuing to be the Phillies.
Yeah, well said. They gotta be themselves. And like I said, they all need to be them true selves and realize that they can be the hero. They don't need to wait on Bryce Harper or Kyle Schwarber or somebody else to do it. And I'm specifically talking to some of those younger guys. They need to just be the players that they were in the beginning of the year, where they're just out there having fun, playing good baseball. So Trey Turner leading the charge, though. He's really been up and down this year, up, down, up, down. Seems like he's starting to get back up, though, which it's perfect timing here, mid-August, August 17th. That's when you want us to start turning it up before we go in the playoffs. But how exciting is it for you guys to see this guy come back to his true self? I mean, the caliber baseball player that he was, I don't know that he is the same in Philly, but he's slowly progressing towards that. And I think with the contract that he signed, as long as he's going to be here, I think that he could get better. I just think it's all mental with him. How do you guys feel about the take? Do you guys think it's mental? Do you think it's more physical? Do you think it's just the game getting unlucky?
I'm thinking if he didn't get hurt earlier this year, he may be an MVP candidate. I mean, if you look at his stats, he's been well over 300 still. He's got a lot of pop in his bat. Like he's a good baseball player. And the one thing with him that I wish they did more was steal with him. Now, the reason they don't is because Bryce Harper is batting behind him. I think they should somehow mess with the lineup to a point where, you can give Turner free reign to steal because he just doesn't get caught at all. So I think he should have more stolen bases than what he's got. I think he's probably only got maybe 20 stolen bases. Should be more than that though. Like he's just that much of an elite threat on the bases. Like after being out 6 weeks like he was earlier and to be this good, that's what they need. So he's being the player that they paid him to be right now. Let him keep going.
Yeah, I mean, with that performance yesterday and a couple days ago when they actually benched him for Sosa, I think it kind of woke him up a little bit and was like, all right, you know what, though? I'm getting paid all this money. I'm going to be here for the next 9 years. I got to make my mark here. And obviously that's what he did. And when it came down to the last minute, I mean, when it came down to, I guess you could say the last play, because obviously it was, when you had to do a walk-off, he did it. I mean, he was able to do that. He was able to get it in the moment. So that was awesome to see even in person. And I bet for people on TV as well, like the viewers, it was sensational for sure. So seeing him get back and it kind of helps the team's morale, I feel like, and them getting back in the spirit and hopefully gets them ready for a hopeful postseason run. I hope. But they got to focus on these games. And I know it is just you had the Marlins and the Nationals now. I mean, having these opponents that aren't that good, I mean, still getting the wins, though, it kind of gets you back on the right track, I feel like. I think it gets you back on the right track. So I think it helps out guys like Trey Turner, like Bryce Harper, get back their confidence and get back that swagger that they have for sure.
Agreed. Swagger's the perfect word. I mean, they're finding that swagger. I wish I had the meme queued up. I think I got my swagger back. Oh, I love that one because that's the Phillies right now. Moving along now to our next segment. So this was actually something that I don't think any of us saw coming. I know Jack told me he saw some stories about it. I don't know. Did you guys see anything about this? I was stunned when I saw this before the game. I didn't hear any word about Maddox being moved to safety. It was one of those.
He's been in and out of the safety spot for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed him in the nickel, never noticed him in the safety. So that kind of shocked me, but he handled it well. And I guess in Vic Fangio's system, it's looking like he could be there. He basically ran the receiver's route for him on that pick. It was a beautiful read where he kind of just came under the ball and then had maybe like a 30, 40-yard return on it. It's preseason. Regular season, he would have housed it. But I'll say this.
I was pissed when he went out of bounds.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
It's preseason. Give it a rest. But I'll say this, guys. He was the guy who was roommates with Dallas Goedert, right? I think that they still might be roommates. Maybe I'm mistaken on that. But where I'm going at with this is if you want to talk about a locker room guy, Avonte Maddox is that and then some. They were telling a story on NBC Sports Philadelphia. I was listening to it during the game. Quinyon Mitchell may not be too happy that they told this story because he may be a little bit embarrassed, but it's all good, Quinyon. We all have these moments. When he first moved to Philadelphia, the guy ran out of gas on the bridge in Philadelphia. So who do you call to your rescue? This is what I'm interested in. Who do these young guys really entrust in situations like that off the field? Nothing to do with football. Who do you believe in? Who do you trust with your life? Who do you hang out with off the field? He called Avonte Maddox. That was the first person he called. Avonte Maddox came with a gallon of gasoline to the rescue, handled it, boom, it was done. So if the coaching staff doesn't see the effort that Avonte Maddox is making, number one, on the field, number two, off the field, shame on you as a coaching staff, because Avonte Maddox is doing everything for this team. Like I said, on the field and off the field, and then some. So coaching staff, if you're not noticing that, because there's been some talks about with all the secondary guys, all the depth that they have now, him maybe getting cut with other guys moving to safety. If you get rid of Maddox, you're getting rid of the wrong guy. I know I've, been on the Bradbury to safety hype train, this and that. You better damn well keep Avonte Maddox over James Bradbury. If I see a story come out that says like you're keeping Bradbury over Maddox, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to be very upset because of the locker room thing that he brings and because of what he brings on the field, it's a no-brainer. And that's why the whole team went ape shit. They all went crazy on the sideline when he had that pick because they all said, holy shit, this guy just solidified his spot on the roster. He's going to stay now. Our guy's going to stay. So that just shows you, too, as a coaching staff, he has buy-in from this team. I really hope that they notice that because that was the thing that I had in my notes here. Circled, highlighted, fucking starred, all the above.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
I like Avonte Maddox in that safety role. I just don't think he's like a starter. Like I think if you have him that third or fourth safety role behind Blankenship and obviously Gardner Johnson, that's fine for him. He's just not a great tackler. He's good in coverage, but not a good tackler, which was a big problem last year that they had. And when he's just small is part of my worry, which will make a lot of matchup nightmares to a point. Because if you got a tight end on him, a 6'5" tight end is head tapping a 5'9" dude every single time. So yeah, I think he's going to make the team, no doubt. But it is good to see him beating up on scrub quarterbacks in preseason. It's what you want veteran guys to do. Because what Maddox 5 years in the league now, 6. Like he's been in the league for a while at this point.
Yeah, I think with Maddox, we kind of touched on Maddox a couple weeks ago. I think me and Chris were saying that we didn't think that he would make the roster, but I think right then with that pick that he had, I think that does give him a better percentage of making the roster. And also, I do think he is more suitable for being a backup safety than James Bradbury is. Bradbury is awful, and I just hope of any of the players, I hope they cut him. I think everybody in Philadelphia wants him cut. He is just he's not gonna fit here. And when he last year, he really just lost his footing. I really do. And I don't think he can gain it back. And I think his confidence is just down. But I think with Maddox, though, I think this is great because as we said before a couple weeks ago, Maddox was kind of one of those players that we did the same thing with Fletcher Cox. We released him, and then a couple days later, we signed him back. We released Darius Slay. People don't even notice this. Then we re-signed him back. We restructured the contract. We did the same thing with Avonte Maddox, which was surprising. I did not think would happen. But yeah, Avonte Maddox is making his mark, it seems like. He seems like he still wants to be here. The Eagles gave him a second shot, and he's taken that, and he's running with it. And obviously, you saw it. He actually literally did that. He got an interception, and he ran with it. So I think it's a great opportunity for Maddox, and we'll see if he can make the roster.
And we'll get to McKee here in a second. Ben, I appreciate your comment. But yeah, great comments there, both you guys, about Maddox. I think he has definitely the heart of the fans, too. So at worst case scenario, Philadelphia Eagles, if you're evil and if you worry about your pockets and money, he's going to sell jerseys. So put him out there for just that reason alone. No, seriously, Avonte Maddox, ton of respect for the guy. Love what he does. And it was great to see him have that pick. I think we all kind of stood up on our couch and jump up and down. Kelee Ringo is somebody that I know Chris has really been on the hype train for since he came. Chris, how are you feeling about Kelee Ringo and his continued growth? He just keeps seeming on and progressing.
Yeah, it seems like every single time I see him out there, he's making extremely good plays out there. Listen, he's going to get beat here and there. He's a corner. He's young. There's going to be mistakes, which is hard for a lot of people to forgive, but this is the development of young corners, and we really haven't seen it in a while because we haven't developed a young corner in God knows how long. But, just that play he made along the sideline. People are like, oh, my God, the receiver got his hands on the ball. It didn't matter that the receiver got his hands on the ball because Ringo forced him out of bounds. Ringo's just, he's played really, really well. He's got the speed, he's got the height, he's got everything. And I really feel like if Ringo would have stayed in college another year, you might have been talking about him being a first-round pick. I mean, he was good at Georgia that first year, and then his sophomore year, he had a down year. He came out after that. So I think Ringo's, he might be with the corner number 2 with Quinyon Mitchell in the future. So, and that would be me having DeJean in the slot or safety. But I really like the way Ringo's been playing, and I think, obviously he's going to make the roster, but I think he gets some significant playing time here this season.
Yeah, Ringo is I feel like he's an up-and-coming star. I really do feel like he can be some kind of stepping stone for this team. Me and Dalton actually got to meet Mrs. Ringo, not his wife, his mom, who was super cool, super nice. Shout out to Malik Joe for introducing Mrs. Ringo to us. It was really cool.
Mama Ringo.
Mama Ringo. Yeah, that was really cool. So, and we were just, what we were doing, we were literally telling her, like, your son is insane. We believe in your son. We're a fan of your son. And we think he's going to ball out this season and the up and coming seasons as well. So I'm excited to see the potential in Kelee Ringo. I like his ball hawk skills. I think he really has a good read for where the ball is. And I just think, as Chris was saying, he's very athletic. He could have been a first round pick, but he wasn't. But we've been able to get these Georgia Bulldogs players, and we've been able to get them later in later rounds and snag them, which is awesome. And I think it's great for the system and great for the future of the Eagles. That they're building a young defense, and I'm excited to see what Kelee Ringo's got in the bag.
Yeah, I think he's going to evolve into, I don't know that he'll be a starter this year. I love Kelee. I want to see Kelee start. I just think with Slay, Quinyon Mitchell, and then Isaiah Rodgers seems to be the guy getting reps. I think it's more likely that he could start at the slot. They also have Cooper DeJean, who they're going to want to develop. At some point, they got a lot
outside.
of cooks. Huh?
I think you want to put him outside because they have a lot of inside guys. I think Ringo you should develop as the outside corner.
Well, that is true. Yeah, they're not going to really have, like, you're right, like a traditional, like they have in the past. This guy goes here. This guy, it's going to be more of a by committee, which is good. I actually like that with Vic Fangio. So that's actually could play to Ringo's benefit now that I think about it with that change. So who knows? Maybe, I don't know that there's necessarily going to be a starter. Like, I think that the starter is going to be Slay this year, if that makes sense. Yeah. And then it's going to be like, okay, by committee of who's cornerback 2, who's going to be in the slot, who's going to be in the safety. And it's going to just be either to Vic Fangio's benefit or demise.
Yeah, they should do that too, because that way you don't have guys who are absolutely gassed. Slay is 32 at this point? Like, Slay's getting up there in age. If you can keep him fresh throughout the season and as long and developing a guy like Ringo and Mitchell behind him, you are better in the future and better right now. So I think that would be a really good thing to do, especially just getting Slay some rest here and there because he's going to need it.
33, I just looked up too.
Yeah, 33. I was thinking he was 33.
That's old for a corner.
Yeah, it is. And I think he's probably, I think I heard that he's maybe got one more year in him or maybe a couple more. So that's what I've heard.
2 at most, I would say.
Yeah.
And that's being good this year and next year maybe. But I think he's really going to start to play less and less this year. And I think he understands that. The speed, yeah, you're right. The speed of these new wide receivers coming out of college, it's just so tough to keep up with. But that's the thing. Like, I really hope that he can pass along his knowledge to somebody like Quinyon Mitchell, somebody like Isaiah Rodgers, because if Vic Fangio ends up retiring here, finishing it out where he started, finishing it out in Philadelphia with the Eagles, where he started with the Stars back in the 80s in the USFL or whatever, that would be really, really cool. So I think Ringo could actually really have a lot of playing time on this team. There could be like 6 or 7 guys on your secondary that are like starters in a by committee kind of thing that are getting significant time. I would say significant being playing more than 25% of snaps. if they're out there more than 1 out of 4 snaps, that's playing a lot. So I think Ringo could be one of those guys. And I like his attitude too. He seems very level-headed, very level-minded. Every time he's out there, he's trying to make a play for the ball. He's smart. He has good instincts. Like KJ mentioned, we met his mother. He comes from a good family, so there's something to be said for that too. So I'm rooting for him, and I hope he continues to grow because I think players like Isaiah Rodgers and like Quinyon Mitchell and like Kelee Ringo as well, I think they could all develop into a very good cornerback one day. So the thing is, for the Eagles, they need to be able to find that gem now and get the most out of them that they can once Slay leaves. I honestly think, I don't know what you guys think. You guys think that this is Slay's last year? I think that this is it.
I think this is last productive year. I think he might be here next year or somewhere
like a Brandon
else.
Graham kind of role where it's like an old head. You come in on 3rd down.
Yeah, the problem with corners, it's kind of hard to mask them when they're done.
Yeah.
Like deep defensive ends will usually, still find a way to get a sack or 2 here or there. Corners, when they're done, you can tell they just get absolutely roasted. And it's going to be really tough because you got a lot of good receivers in this division, like CeeDee Lamb and McLaurin and now Neighbors for the Giants. Like it's gonna be really hard to mask that if Slay lost a step, they're gonna have to replace him sooner than later, especially with how good of a team the Eagles are right now.
Yeah, I think so too. It sucks to say that because Darius Slay is somebody that's done so much for the team. Obviously, Mama Slay, his wife though, instead of his mom, Mrs. Slay. We've met her a ton of times too at the 4th and John tailgates, and she's super awesome too. Makes great pudding. So like that aspect of it sucks. You know what I mean? When you're connected with a player, you really like them. You like the person that they are off the field. I think Darius Slay is hilarious. Like if I ever had the chance to interview him, that would be crazy. The fact that I want to ask him about the fact that he has a tattoo of himself. I think that that's so funny. So I just think as a person,
and that you can't call him Darius.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, big play Slay. You're right. Yeah. Every time I'm around him, I got to call him big play Slay. That's exactly true.
Yes, Slay.
But the biggest thing with him is if he could even still be here, I like Chris's take about next year, just kind of like a veteran kind of role where he comes in every now and then is like Vic Fangio's jackknife. Like, hey, here's what you're still really good at because you're right. Cornerback is a position that your flaws are going to show as your age gets up there quicker. But if he's still good on the outside or if he's still good, in zone coverage, 10, 15 yards off the ball and Vic Fangio's okay with that, it makes more sense to bring him back for that second year just to have the conversations with the young guys, the knowledge that he's going to share, the stuff that he's going to bring off the field to them. Hey, what are you up to this weekend? Hey, maybe I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like all those things that you don't even see off the field that he brings to those younger guys matter a lot. So, as you guys have seen here, the score's been up here the whole time. The Philadelphia Eagles capitalize on a big mistake by the New England Patriots, a muffed snap by the New England center. And then Brandon Smith, I believe the gentleman's name was, had a great play where he was coming up kind of the A gap or the B gap as a middle linebacker, just rushed it and was like, opportunity strikes, was super aware and got on the ball, ended up returning it. Or ended up getting on the ball for the Philadelphia Eagles to then, kneel it out and win the game. So the fact that he had that much awareness really spoke volumes to me. I think that this kid looks really good. I also think Patrick Johnson is somebody who's going to probably be someone that we're going to hear a lot about as we get closer to the regular season. The Eagles are going to give him more opportunity. They want to see what this kid can do. He had that big fumble where he had that strip sack at the end of the game to beat the Ravens, and then he had a couple big plays in this game too. So I think with that being said, and the Eagles, they are good at edge. They just don't have the depth that they had last year. I think that that's fair to say. I think that he's going to get a lot more time. Huh?
I don't think they have the star power there at edge. Like, I think they have some guys who are going to develop into something, but you don't have the Hassan Reddick who's going to get you 12, 13 sacks. They don't have that guy this year. They got a couple guys who I think are going to be good, but like it's going to be a different type edge group. I think it's faster now. Like they have a more athletic edge group with Jalix Hunt and Huff and Nolan Smith even got his second snap of the or his second sack of the preseason. So those are the guys that you really hope can develop and be better. It's really, to me, those guys up the middle are going to matter more than the edge guys, like Carter and Davis and Williams. To me, those are the 3 X factors as opposed to the outside guys.
Yeah, I agree. I think I saw some. I don't know if you guys saw this too. I saw some really good plays from. I was about to say Josh Huff, former Eagle, Bryce Huff. I gotta get that in my mind. Bryce Huff. He had a really nice tackle. I believe it was for a loss, but it was a clean
in the pass game too.
What's up?
That was in the pass game too.
Yeah, that was it. That was a
big.
a pass. Yeah, it was a huge tackle, and I was impressed. I was like, wow, if we can get that kind of play from him in the regular season, that would be clutch for sure. So I'm really excited to see what he's got. But I agree with Chris. We don't have one destined defensive end right now. Like you said before, Hassan Reddick. We don't have him anymore. So we got a lot of guys who are kind of project players. Jalix Hunt, Bryce Huff, and Nolan Smith. And I think that's fine, though, because they can just learn off each other. They can kind of feed off each other as well and kind of just get better each day. And I think that's really what kind of builds a player into hopefully an elite kind of defensive end kind of player for the Eagles. I hope so. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And I do think that, I think it's great that we got that win because now we're 2-0 in the preseason. And I mean, it's just preseason though, but it's good for the morale, I feel like. And some players who thought they weren't going to make the roster before, now they might have a chance to still make it. So we'll see what happens.
I'll tell you, there's one thing I am really concerned about. And that's wide receiver depth. They don't have anything past maybe Paris Campbell.
Joseph Nada. Joseph Nada had a big game.
Ngata's been Ngata's been off and on.
My worry.
Like, so he was released and then he came back. He is good. I like Ngata a lot, but the thing is, I don't know if they trusted him enough in a regular season game. I don't know if they have enough trust in him yet.
Give it time.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna play a lot of these guys and give them a lot of time to see how they show up in these opportunities in these situations. Nada's gonna be one of them. And somebody else, John Ross. What do you think about John Ross, Chris? I mean, I think he's kind of sucked, to be honest. I think
he don't have the speed he had, that's for sure.
No, we had one route where it looked good. He had the guy beat, and he still showed that he still had gas in the tank. It was one time I saw it, but then the problem was Kenny Pickett couldn't put it was like freaking track. He couldn't put the ball.
Kenny Pickett sucks. And we're talking, oh my God. Kenny,
going off of that too. Are you a McKee guy?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm like Tanner McKee should be the backup, but he should definitely be the backup over Kenny Pickett because Kenny Pickett just, I mean, he was 11 for 13, which, on paper looks good. He took 4 really bad sacks, and it made the offensive line look a lot worse than what they were because that offensive line was pretty good. They were giving him time. And maybe that was part of the receivers not getting open. That might be part of it because to me, it didn't look like the receivers really getting open at all. But, I mean, Pickett he doesn't throw with anticipation. He just dump down. Doesn't have a great ball. Doesn't have a ton of zip. I don't see it with him. I never saw it with Pickett. I thought he was going to be a bust from the day he got drafted. But they didn't give up a ton to get him. So whatever. But at this point, you got to put McKee in.
Yeah, I think it was pretty interesting when the Eagles did trade for him. I remember we were like a little like confused why they did it, but I mean, like we thought that he was going to be for sure the number 2 quarterback. But as Chris been saying, though, it seems like I was shocked. Like I'm shocked that even the Steelers took a chance on him, and I still find it crazy that this guy was a first-round pick. I mean, they've said it many times. He's got really small hands. He probably has smaller hands than I do. I mean, I have larger hands. But yeah, he wears 2 gloves. It just seems like, as Chris was saying too, like his I don't know, with the way he delivers the ball, I don't really like it as well. I feel like Tanner McKee's got a better release, a better throwing release than Kenny Pickett does. And I feel like it's more accurate as well. So I kind of feel more safe with if knocking on wood, Jalen
If Hurts gets hurt, we're fucked anyway.
I do feel safer with Tanner McKee out there. I do feel like he will get the two wideouts involved. I think he'll really do a great job. I mean, I think honestly, those guys will carry Tanner McKee. AJ Brown and Devontae. If Tanner has to go in, I think he will get carried though by AJ and Devontae. He's just like, yo, just throw it up to us and we'll do the rest. We'll do the rest. And Saquon as well. So I am on the Tanner McKee number 2, I guess you could say, support group. I do believe in him way more than Kenny Pickett. Obviously, Kenny Pickett was a first-round pick, but Tanner McKee just seems like he's more of an elite ball passer. He's more of a more poised quarterback, and I am more comfortable with seeing him at the backup position than Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett just seems lost out there. And it's sad, too, because, I mean, I know he grew up loving this team, grew up being an Eagles fan as well, but we've seen this over the years of people who grew, I mean, some players who grew up Eagles fans and it didn't work out. I've said this before, Will Parks, that didn't work out. If you want to say, I don't know. I mean, you guys can answer this for me as well. What do you think? Hassan Reddick worked out growing up as an Eagles fan, but then
glad he's going now.
I mean, the way it's going now, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it
that was a good move to trade him now since he's not.
I heard something that I'll have to tell you guys after the podcast because I won't say it on air. Yeah. But I will leave it at this. Hassan Reddick is not gone. Hassan Reddick is still in this city.
Maybe.
Like, he's still living here. Like,
I mean, think about it. He's not that far.
That kind of shocked me. I thought that he would be up in New York at this point, or at least
because
settled in there.
They play in Jersey. They don't play. They're the New Jersey Giants. So all he needs to do is go on 95, and he's up there.
Yeah, I'm sure he can pay a dude to drive him with a contract he's got.
True. I mean, it's still, I don't know.
JJ Reddick did that for years. He lived in New York. He lived in Brooklyn, and he had a driver driving to the Sixers games.
Yeah, JJ Reddick, guys. Don't get that. Yeah, don't get that confused.
JJ Reddick.
Same last name. So
same. Well, yeah, tomato. So he'll be all right.
You should know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of shocked me when I heard that. But I don't think it's out of the equation for Howie to bring him back. That shows me that he still likes living here. He still likes being here. I think he's frustrated, upset, or he would be in New York already. And the Jets don't seem to have any kind of
they don't want to pay him
solution to the problem other than come back. We love you. Those words aren't enough. I don't know what the fuck the New York Jets office thought was going to happen. Like, oh yeah, he won't play for the Eagles if they don't pay him, but he'll play for us. No, you probably have a worse chance. He grew up as a kid, probably as an Eagles fan. And, you know, if there's any team that he's going to take a pay cut for to come back, it's probably the Eagles. And he wasn't willing to do that. So that should tell every other NFL team everything that they need to know about Hassan Reddick. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean it is Hassan Reddick wants to get what he's worth. He's not playing any games. He wants to go to a team, and there's a lot of them that should and will pay him what he's worth. So we'll see. But yeah, a big win against New England. A lot of you guys are excited for that. I know I was on Victory Friday.
Again. Two straight weeks they won a Super Bowl.
I know, 2 straight weeks, and hopefully a third next week.
Everybody off.
Yeah.
If anybody will be there too next week, I think
Chris is not serious.
Chuck's isn't Charles gonna be there next week?
Yeah, he said he's gonna be there. And actually, I don't know if you know this. Shout out to our guys at Tick Pick. He's going to the Tick Pick lounge.
So there you go, Tick Pick. We sold 1 ticket for you, at least me and Mac. But yeah, Charles, our buddy, is going to be going to the Tick Pick Lounge. If any of you guys are going to be at the preseason game on Saturday, it's up in the air. I'm actually thinking about going. I don't know if either of these gentlemen are going. I'm sure they're up in the air. They're probably always up in the air for a Philly sports event like me.
Sunday or Saturday?
We'll talk about it after the show, but I'm sure we'll have some of us there representing is what I'm trying to say. So if anybody will be out there, wants to meet up with any of the crew, let me know. Shoot us a DM on 302 Birds. We'll link up with you. Would love to meet up with some of you guys. It'll be great to be back out there for some Philadelphia Eagles, our Philadelphia Eagles football. Man, what a feeling to be back. So, like I said, we'll be tailgating, doing our thing. If any of you guys will be out there, hit us up. We also just released a 302 Birds Halloween shirt with all 4 of the mascots on it. So if you can go buy one of them, link is in the bio for that. And other than that, that's pretty much all I got. Either you guys got anything you want to say on our way out?
Shout out Big Dom.
Big Dom. Yeah, that's right.
That's my guy. Go Italian.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, congrats to the U.S. U.S. for winning the tying the Olympics with Japan in medals. So that was great to see. So yeah, I mean that's.
Is it over yet, or is it?
It's over. Oh yeah, it's been over.
So it ended in a tie.
So yes, they ended.
We had the same amount of gold, but not
41 gold medals, and we tied with China. So we tied with China, but we have more. I think we have more other medals as well. We have the most medals. Like we have silvers and bronze and all that kind of jazz. So my boy Mikey would be able to explain it way better. So
all good. Well, hey, we appreciate both you guys for jumping on here. Eagles football is back. So if you guys are excited for that, be sure to drop a like, a comment. We got Eagles post-game shows. We got Phillies post-game shows. We got all the coverage that you guys need for your Philly sports teams right here on 302 Birds. So without further ado, as always, God bless, go Birds. Hope everybody has a great and safe weekend, and roll that outro.